Hey, what's up guys, welcome to a new video. My name is Prince Mason. Today I want to show you all the steps I took to retouch this image. I'm going to show you the before. This is the straight out of the camera right here. This is the Capture One edit. So this is my raw file that I kind of like just touched up in Capture One, and this is the final image. Now before we get into this video, I want you to head over to my digital store. I have some skin tone presets for studio portraits. You guys should go check them out. I have one for dark skin tones, I have one for light skin tones. They are amazing. I am pretty sure you are going to love them because I use them all the time. So yeah, now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's get straight into this video. Now for Capture One, the first thing that I always do is my levels. As you guys can see, I dragged my levels in. If you know anything about your histogram, you know that the brightest part of your image is always on the right. The left, you have your blacks or your shadows, and right here in the middle you have your midtone. So I just dragged my whites in a little bit and I pulled my blacks in. Now after that, I just messed with the exposure just a little bit. So as you guys can see, I increased my saturation, and the reason was because the image was a little bit too pale, so I just increased my saturation to +11, you know, just so that it has a little bit of the color, it has a little bit of the richness and color in the image. Then I pulled my blacks back and I pulled my highlights down. Now you guys know when you put your highlights down, you recover your highlights. When you take it up, your highlights are blown out. So if you can see like her back here, I just pull it back so I can recover the highlights there. And if we turn on my exposure, you can see that my exposure warning right here on at the top, you can see that my image was just a little bit overexposed here, which is really negligible. So yeah, and that's all I did right here. My white balance, I left it the way it came out of camera, and I didn't do any other thing here. This was all I did. And then I took this image to Photoshop. So let's get into Photoshop and see what I did. Now in Photoshop, I'm just going to turn off all the layers and we'll go through everything one by one. So I'm going to zoom in right now so you guys can see this image. Now in Photoshop, the first thing I did was duplicate my layer, and that's because I don't like my background layer to be the first layer that I'm working off. So I just duplicated my layer, then I removed the blemishes. So I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see this. I removed all the blemishes from her face. Now I use frequency separation to remove my blemishes. If you guys do not know how to use frequency separation, I have a few videos on my YouTube page. Definitely go check it out. And I have a free frequency separation action that you guys can download. It's right there on my digital store too, so you guys should check it out. So what I did was I just used frequency separation and the clone stamp tool to remove a lot of the blemishes that she had on her face. And after that, I moved to dodge and burn. So like I said, the first thing I did was duplicate my layer. Secondly, I created a frequency separation layer. Now I merged everything together and I named it blemishes. And the reason why I did that was because I knew I was going to create another frequency separation action later, and this one was just to remove the blemishes from her skin. I did not do any other skin work. Now after the frequency separation, I merged everything together. Command E to merge your group together, and I named it blemishes. After that, I now did dodge and burn. So dodge and burn retouching is what I mainly used for this image, and we're going to just go over it one after the other. So this is my dodge. As you guys can see, removed a lot of the, what do you call it, the ugly black spots or the ugly black lines. And this is my burn. My burn just fixed every other thing up. Now this is my dodge. I removed a lot of the ugly dark spots, and after that I burnt. So but it's not like I do it one by one. So while I'm dodging, I'm also burning, and it's just like a nice way to, you know, go through your whole dodge and burn. I'll not advise you dodge for a long time and then you get to burning. I advise that you do it simultaneously. So while I'm dodging, I'm also burning, and I'm using curves adjustment layers here. So let me show you. So this is a curve adjustment layer for my burn, and this is the curve adjustment layer for my dodge. And after that, what I did again was that I merged everything into one layer. So I created a stamp visible layer. Now, the way to create a stamp visible layer is by holding Command, Option, Shift, and E on your Mac, and on your PC is Control, Alt, and Shift, and E. Yeah, so I created a stamp visible layer. Everything that I've done here just, you know, shows in this layer. And after that, I did my basic frequency separation. Again, like I said, you can always download this action from my digital store. I have it there for free. So I did my frequency separation action again, and now I actually worked on my skin tones with my mixer brush tool. So I have a few videos on frequency separation and how to use the mixer brush tool. You guys check it out. So I use the mixer brush tool on the low layer, and I didn't do anything on the high frequency layer since I already removed my blemishes. Now, the reason why I use the mixer brush tool after dodge and burn is because when you dodge and burn, sometimes your image will lose colors in some places, and instead of trying to add saturation and all that, I just prefer to like blend the whole image in with the mixer brush tool. Also, when you dodge and burn, it's not always perfect. There are some places that you might make mistakes, and if you want it to be perfect, you might have to like dodge and burn for such a long time. And as photographers, most of us would actually be shooting instead of retouching. So it's just a technique that I use to get the best of both worlds. Then there are some places that I kind of like had some issues with, like her neck here. There were just like black spots there, and I did dodge and burn, but it just looked funny. So what I did was that I picked a soft brush and I picked the color somewhere around her neck, created a layer in between my high and my low frequency layer, and I just brushed over with a very low flow to fix the colors that were here just a little bit. Then after that, I moved to global dodge and burn, and global dodge and burn is when you are not dodging and burning to retouch your image or to even out your skin tones, but you are dodging and burning so that you can enhance the highlights and the shadows of your image. And global dodge and burn just makes your image stand out. So this is our dodge and this is our burn. As you guys can see, my dodge is a lot because I wanted the highlights to pop. That's like the new thing now. So I did that, and I ran my teeth and eyes whitening action. If you guys haven't downloaded this, you should definitely check it out. Like I said, this is my digital store too for free. I ran my teeth and eyes whitening action, and after doing that, I graded my image. Now, the color grading is quite a long one. As you guys can see, I have like so many layers here, so let's go over them one after the other. This is what's going to take time. So for my levels, what I did was I just pulled in my whites, and like I said before, when you open your levels, you can see your histogram. Your blacks are on your left and your highlights are on your right. So I pulled in my highlights and I pulled in my shadows. Now, a quick tip: if you hold Option and you drag, you can always see where your image is getting blown out, either through or when your blacks are getting too crushed. And I can see right here that her back is a little bit blown out, but it's fine. I really don't need too much detail here, so it's just fine. I added a lot of contrast with this, and the next thing I did was, for my curves adjustment, I lifted my midtones a little bit, and this just goes with the same rules. You have your highlights on the right and you have your shadows on your left and your midtones in the middle. So I just lifted my midtones a little bit. But what happened was that when I lifted my midtones, as you guys can see, it affected my highlights too. So what I did was I came to my blending options, and as you guys can see all the way here, if I take it back, you guys can see that it's affecting the whites a lot. Look at her cheekbone, look at her back. You guys can see that. I just held Option and just move just hold Option, and this is going to break away. Just move it and move it away from the highlights, and this right here in the middle just blends it out. So I have removed that particular effect from my highlights. Now after that, I created a black and white layer and I changed my blend mode to luminosity, and this was just to add some tiny contrast to the reds in the image. And after that, I created a photo filter layer, and the filter that I used is the cooling filter. I use this filter a lot. I just wanted to cool the image down a little bit. I felt like the reds on her skin were too much. I brought it back a little bit later, but it was a lot more controlled now. And then my hue saturation. So in my hue saturation, what I did was that the reds, which is typically where the skin tones are, I reduced my saturation by -8. And yeah, I didn't do anything for my yellows, so it's just my reds. I reduced my saturation by -8. And now selective color. So selective color is something I talked about recently. I will link the video in the description below, and also just put a card up here in case you want to watch it. So in your selective color, you have your cyans, magentas, yellows, so CMY, and you have your RGB right here. So you have your reds, your greens, and your blues. So cyan, right, and you have red. So when you pull it forward, you remove cyans, you add cyans to your image, and when you pull it backwards, you add reds to your image. So let me just show you. So this is on plot 27, right? So if I pull it backwards like this, I'm adding more reds to my image, and if I pull it forwards, I'm adding more cyans to my image. But you guys can't see this right now, and the reason why you can't see it right now, you can see just right here, you guys can see that. So see adding cyans to the image. But the reason why you can't see it right now is because I am actually working in the cyan colors. So it's just whatever I do right here now will affect only the cyans in this image. So let's say, for example, I come to my reds, right? You can see my reds, I have +5. If I pull it down, I add more reds to my reds. If I pull it up, I add more cyans to my reds. So we're just going to stick to the +5. And that's fine. So you guys understand the whole idea. So you have your CMY. So you know the whole idea, CMYK and RGB. So you have your CMY here and you have your RGB here. So your C cyans, then you have your reds, your magentas, then you have your greens, your yellows, then you have your blues. So like for yellows now, if I pull this back, I'm going to add more blues to my image. If I pull it forward, I'm going to add more yellows to my red. So that's something that you guys have to keep in mind. So this is what happens with selective color. Then I created another selective color again, and this selective color was to just mess with my background. So let me go to my greens. As you guys can see, if I add cyans to my image, because if you pull it forward, you're going to add cyans. You guys can see that I have the greens in the back are like popping. If I pull it back, you guys can see we have red, so it just changes the colors. The magentas. Remember, if I pull it back, I add more greens. If I pull it forward, I add more magentas to my image. So that's just how it works. I just used it to work on the greens and the back because I wanted it to be a lot warmer. And after that, I did another hue saturation again, and this was just to add some saturation to my image. I just wanted my image to pop. And then color balance. So color balance still works the same way. So you have your highlights, and you have your midtones, you have your shadows, and you have your CMY here, and you have your RGB here. So I did not click preserve luminosity, because when you do that, what happens is that it just does not add colors to your image. It also adds it also affects the tonal range of your image, like the shadows and your highlights. And for this image, I was not trying to do that. And that's about it. That's how I got this image to where it is right now. This is just a very quick overview, and I hope you guys have learned something. Then I also have my invert check layer that I use for dodge and burn. So let me just turn everything off so you guys can see how my invert check layer works. So yeah, let me turn it on. This is my invert check layer. So with dodge and burn, this is the before, this is the after. It just helps you see the blemishes a lot more instead of using your normal eyes to do that. So yeah, that's about it. My invert check layer, what I do is that I have my gradient map, and for my gradient map, I just invert my gradient map. So that's it. So you just invert your gradient map and you put your levels there so you can adjust for your blacks and your whites. So yeah, that's about it. And after this, what I did was I saved back to Capture One. So if we go to Capture One now, we can see our final image here. I adjusted my luma curve just a little bit to just add a little bit of drama to it. And what your luma curve does is that it just affects the tonal range instead of your RGB that affects everything plus your colors. So if I drag this here, it really doesn't affect the colors, just the tonal range. But I like my images just a little bit dark, something like this. Then what I also did here was, because the image was really soft, I just added some film grain to it so that it's not looking too soft. So let's just zoom into this image. Let's zoom into this image. Can you guys see that? And let's zoom out of this image now. So let's zoom in again. So look at her face. Let's hold Option, and before, you guys can see the before, it looks really soft, and that's the after. So right now there's a lot more texture in her skin. So yeah, that's about it. So let's see our straight out of the camera, let's see our Capture One edits, and let's see our final image. Looks really, really nice. So that's it. If you guys want to see more videos like this, let me know if you're interested. Also, I have a retouching masterclass that I'm working on for beauty portraits. That's just going to be mainly for studio beauty portraits, and it is something I'm really excited about, and I hope that you guys are also excited about it. I should be putting it out next month, so let's all look forward to that. And for now, just go to my digital store and check out the freebies I have there, and also my skin tone lots. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Have an amazing day. Peace.